I'm Josh Gitalis, clinical nutritionist, and I'd like to talk to you about Elixir and why I created Elixir. When I work with clients in my clinic, the main focus on what we do is on food, on sustenance. You have to have a good diet in order to support the functions of your body. On top of that though, there's plenty of superfoods and herbs that can really give you an increased level of vitality and energy if we take it on a daily basis. I've been using these superfoods and herbs for some time now. In fact, I teach a workshop to show people how to put these together. But I wanted to make something that was accessible to everyone, that was easy to use, and importantly, that was tasty. So I created Elixir as a drink unto its own, or to add to smoothies and elixirs. We've got a whole bunch of different herbs in Elixir and superfoods that, when put together, have a synergistic effect. And herbalists have known about this effect for some time, that if we use one herb, it's not as strong as using multiple herbs, because when we put those together, they're much stronger than the sum of their parts. In other words, 1 plus 1 doesn't equal 2, 1 plus 1 equals 3 when it comes to combining these herbs. So not only do they taste great together, but they work well together for their medicinal and strengthening effect. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the ingredients in Elixir so you can understand that synergistic effect and how it might work in our body and the benefits of each one. The first one we have in Elixir is cacao, and one of the main reasons I put it in is because it tastes so good. But also, cacao is the highest antioxidant food on the planet. It has an extremely high ORAC value. What does that mean? Antioxidants help to protect us from aging, they help to protect us from various chemicals that enter the body, and they help with detoxification in the liver, to name just a few of antioxidants' benefits. Cacao also has two chemicals in it that make us feel fantastic. The first one is phenylethylamine. This is the same chemical that we release when we're in love. The other one's called anandamide, and this is known as the bliss chemical. So perhaps that's the reason why chocolate is so often associated with love. Cacao, delicious. That's why I put it in. The second ingredient, also delicious and very tasty, is goji berry. And gojis are the #1 herb in Chinese medicine. They also contain a very high level of antioxidants, 2 to 4 times the amount of blueberries, which is astounding. Goji berries also contain 2 phytochemicals, one known as lutein and the other zeaxanthin, which are very important for the health of our eyes. I actually had a student tell me one time that they were taking this for a couple months and their vision started to improve, which is pretty cool. So cacao, goji. Then we have lucuma and mesquite. And lucuma and mesquite give our beverage a really nice kind of maple, sweetish flavor. There are 2 fruits. Lucuma is a Peruvian fruit, and it's traditionally been used for skin and stomach problems. It has a slight maple flavor. If you smell it, it almost smells like maple syrup. And it's particularly high in vitamin B3, actually, which is important for mental health and just for energy. The other one that we use to kind of make it taste really delicious is mesquite. And mesquite's been used for broken bones and for sore throats, and it has a really low glycemic index. Sometimes when fruits are used in drinks, people are like, well, what's the glycemic index? Is that going to spike my blood sugar? But these fruits have very low glycemic index, so they're a great way to add flavor and nutrients without messing with our blood sugar. The next group of herbs that I put in Elixir are all called adaptogens, here in the back row. And adaptogens help us adapt to stress, exactly how the name suggests. And they've actually done studies with Marines where they give one group the adaptogens and the others a placebo. And the ones that get the adaptogens outperform the other ones in this intense activity. And the ones that don't get the adaptogens also get sick. a lot easier. So adaptogens work by actually supporting our adrenal glands, which are our fight or flight glands. They're the glands responsible for firing off when we're in a stressful or threatening situation. The first one is Maca, and each one kind of has its own specialty. And Maca has what's called isothiocyanates in them. And these components have been shown to have aphrodisiac qualities. So Maca has been used for over 2,600 years as an aphrodisiac and to help with hormonal balance. It also has a wonderful flavor, Maca. The second adaptogen I've added here is American ginseng. And American ginseng is actually a very highly regulated herb because it's so well sought after. The minute you pull it out of the ground, you have to go register with the government. And you actually can't cross borders with ginseng unless you get pre-approval. That's how sought after it is. So American ginseng is one of the best herbs for giving us energy and vitality and for actually balancing blood sugar, which everyone needs to do in order to prevent inflammation and to prevent degenerative diseases. So American ginseng is in there. And another type of ginseng, kind of a pseudo-ginseng known as Siberian ginseng. And this one is great for athletes. It gives athletes energy. And you know, if you're not an athlete, it's still going to give you energy, but without the crash that you might experience. So the Siberian ginseng, also a wonderful way to kind of tonify the body and to give you that extra kick that you might need. The final adaptogen that I've put in is called Cordyceps. And Cordyceps was highly revered back in the day by kings and queens, and very hard to find actually. But Cordyceps is a mushroom. And mushrooms are great immune modulators. If your immune system's overactive and you're getting autoimmune diseases, it helps to calm it down. If it's underactive, it helps to kind of give it a boost. But Cordyceps is great actually for the lungs. And it's been shown to help people with altitude sickness and to prevent that from happening. So we put Cordyceps in there as well. What you get when you combine all these herbs, as I talked about, is the synergistic effect. And it gives you energy, it gives you vitality, without really giving you the crash that we experience when we consume stimulants like coffee and sugar and beverages with caffeine. So it's a wonderful way to kind of build your energy over time, or to even replace some of those beverages that might be causing you extra stress on the body.